Side. Turn
Like
off.
the left
Got
hand
it.
side, it should be a button.
Yeah, I got it. It's off now. All right. So, core movement. How are you? How's your day today?
I'm good. Just been busy with a couple of things. How about you guys?
Good, good. You know, just same old. Just playing some Call of Duty. We weren't honestly doing much. Yeah. So you started this page. How long ago now?
Last year, February of
And so
2019.
what made you start this movement?
So I started this because, first of all, I've dealt with the issue myself, like abuse within families. It was sexual abuse. So what I realized was that there was not enough services for our South community, like our South Asian community. So I decided to like open a platform where people can share their stories, because I know a lot of them can't share it in their households.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like, I don't know why, but a lot of people in my like in my friend circle, they shared a lot of their stories and what's happened with them. So a lot of people have like talked to me about it. Then I was like, hey, I should start something. And that's when I decided to open it was called Hush Hush. It was not called the Core Movement. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm going to make it the Core Movement, because I had like an overload of emails come in and messages. And then I changed it to the Core Movement.
Okay.
Why the core movement?
Now, why'd you change it?
Hush Hush. I was like,
Hush,
well,
hush.
wait, I'm trying to make everyone start talking, so I should silence it. Core Movement, because there was a lot of cores coming to me. So a lot of Punjabi girls that were coming to me sharing these stories. And I'm a core myself. So I was like, hey, I'm supposed to be fearless. I'm supposed to be powerful. Like, just the definition of core. And that's why I started it. Yeah.
Oh, dope. So you've been doing this for how long now? A year?
Year and a couple of months.
And so you've been through some ups and downs with the page, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what, like, get into a little bit of that. Like, what's happened and, like, why do you think these things happen to you on your page? Is it because what you're exposing and who you're exposing, stuff like that?
I think it's who I'm exposing. The first one I did do was the Shmesh Davar Gurdwara. And the Gurdwaras, I walked in.
What's the
You exposed the
It wasn't exposing the Gurdwara. It was me walking in, recording the room that the girl was sexually abused in by a Baba there a couple years ago.
Wow.
And I know that it happens in Gurdwaras. I know a lot of people that have come up to me and said, like, yo, this has happened to me, where a random Baba has come and touched me. Punjabi classes, there's been issues. So this is happening in a Gurdwara. And that day I was actually really pissed off. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go in and I'm going to record the exact room of where it happened, and then I'm going to post her story. When I did that, I didn't know there was going to be that many issues where like Babbe from like the committees and like the Gurdwara, they were going to start messaging me.
Yeah.
So they started messaging me saying, this is false information, blah, 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 blah. And then I talked to the female. They're like, why didn't she come out when it happened to her? And I was like, she doesn't do, like, girls don't do that. They're not going to come out when they're 14 years old. What she did was, that girl did tell her mom and dad, but her mom and dad were like, you were mistaken. So my thing was, I wanted security at a temple where, you know, at the Shmesh Davar, there's a playroom and there's so many people kids that just go in. And there's no like supervision. So we don't know what's happening to the kids in there. Yeah, they're playing around, but there's also Babbe sitting there just watching the kids and lurking. And it's true. It's like an actual fact. Like, if you go in, you'll notice it. And then there's not only one case. There was at least like 7-8 cases, not only from that Gurdwara, a bunch of Gurdwaras in Abbey, in Surrey, and like a bunch of places. So not even here, Toronto as well. I have a lot of like situations that came up. And I'm like, yo, there has to be a change made. So when that happened, that's when it kind of like I started getting threats in a way, like defamation. I'm going to get you sued. And I'm like, go ahead. I'm speaking the truth. So I don't know, because the law isn't doing shit. What the fuck is the law doing? Tell me. Like, anybody go. I've gone with like 4 or 5 girls now, and they have like reported their abuse. For example, that director. 2 girls have gone in, reported that director. What has happened? Nothing.
Director?
The director. What director are we talking about? The famous guy in Abbey that lives about 20 minutes from here. So him, 2 of the girls went and reported him. and what the result is going to be. What, there's no proof, there's no evidence, so the law doesn't do anything. The law doesn't like put a list out there saying like these people are the abusers. So I'm like, I'm going to talk about them, at least someone will be saved.
Has anybody approached this director to like call him out for what he's done?
Yeah, someone has gone and someone has kind of, but he just denies it, and he says that I've not done anything, but he won't talk about it. So he's decided that he's gonna let this just like slide off and not been mentioned or nothing, just not talk about it. So he's not gonna
blow over type of thing.
Yeah, blow over type of thing. There's more females that have come forward, but they're not going to the cops. They're not willing to pretty much
like
go
their
further.
Too, right?
Yeah.
Which is like their choice too, right? To like do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's their choice. And honestly, dude, they don't get anything from the cops. That's what I've realized so far. When I like just my experience, when I went to the cop and told my story, they made me wait a month. They took my like information, everything. And then the cop calls me randomly, hey, I'm so proud of you for coming forward and sharing all this and going through the whole pretty much hassle, but there's not enough proof, and it was so long ago, and the court won't like approve this to go further. Even if it's just a molestation case, for example, none of these go forward. So all these victims lose hope, because what are the cops gonna do? Shut off. So it's like, we need to do something about it if the cops aren't gonna do anything about it. Because what are these victims' voices are just going like they're not being heard.
So what exactly are we doing? Like what?
So my thing is raising awareness about what's going on. The only time I do expose is if there's more than 2 victims coming forward and different victims, not just like just the same, like a friend of a friend or something. Like so
so-called directors had multiple.
Oh, multiple from different countries, dude. Like there is multiple from everywhere, and people are still like, oh, where's the proof? So a bunch of girls that have come forward, that's not proof enough. A bunch of girls that have actually given statements, that's still not proof enough. So when it comes to exposing, it's not really that. My page is more for awareness and for the people that want their stories heard. So meaning like if their families don't listen to them, if their friends don't believe them, they have a platform where they can come, like read their story out to me, talk to me, get some services where I link them up with like counseling services. It all depends. I also talk to their families if needed. So for example, if someone wants to share their story with their family member and they're too scared to do it alone.
So my thing is, since like clearly this happens a lot in our culture, there's obviously like a deep-rooted issue here.
Yeah.
Right? So where do you think that issue stems from?
I would say the whole kardigan, keeping it in between the families.
But like partially, do you think this is because back home in India, there's a different type of mentality?
Mentality, the thinking, the way people think, where it's like, hey, if someone has touched you or if someone has done something to you sexually, don't tell anyone. You're not gonna get married. So that kind of mentality is still like that. It's like, that's embarrassing for our community, where it's like, yo, nobody's supposed to touch you unless you're married. Nobody's supposed to do this. But it's funny how, for example, in Surrey, people meet secretly because your parents don't allow it, but they'll be like, hey, I'm going to the library and we're meeting up with a guy or girl. Because
that still happens?
Everything's secret. Yeah, that still happens. Everything has to be done secretly. Yeah. So everything's a secret in the families and you just don't talk about it. And that's the big thing too.
How do you change that though? What's your take on like how do you bring about changing that mentality or changing that mindset of our families?
There's like the awareness part of it, and then I think your page does really well for like people who can like share their stories with you, and like when you do those little ask questions things and people like let it out, right? But like what do you actually do to make like real change in it? Like
real change is the confidence.
Don't do anything. Like you're saying, government doesn't do anything. Clearly, like the law is not helping us out in any way. So what do you?
My thing is being educated, because there's like our parents are like, there's a lot of people on my page that are moms and dads. They're not aware that, oh my God, this was even happening. So now they question me. They're like, hey, what do we do? I'm like, yo, talk about good touch, bad touch with your child. So when if it does happen to them, this is what you have to do. If I also give examples like, hey, don't leave your child like alone. You trust everyone, you believe everyone. That's not how it works. Yeah, it's your masi, it's your taya, it's your this or your that, but that doesn't mean that person's not looking like isn't gonna do anything bad. So I don't know, it's just more awareness, I guess. Change wise, I think it's giving more courage and reassurance to the females on this page. So don't be afraid to talk about whatever has happened to you, or when it does happen, don't be afraid to do something about it right there and then. We freeze, we get scared because it's a trauma, it's a traumatic experience. You don't know what's happening to you at that spot. But if we keep them where they're strong, where we're like, hey, slap the guy, hey, do this, hey, don't wait years, go right away, right after the situation happened if you couldn't do anything then and there. Yeah. So being able to actually go to your parents, being able to actually go and talking to someone instead of keeping it inside you. So when we keep things inside us, we overthink them, we let them go. But then when we grow older, that's when we kind of realize how an experience has made a difference to us and why we are infected in certain ways. For example, nightmares, anxiety, depression, and all that.
Okay. So I bet a lot of people message you saying like, you do this shit for attention and stuff like that, right? Yeah, all the time. What do you have to say to those type of people? Like, you're really about this, right?
I am very, very passionate about this. Personally, because I've experienced it and I know how it feels to be alone. I know how it feels to not have anybody there for you when you're going through something. So I don't want anybody feeling that. Second, the first year of this page, I didn't have my face in front of, I didn't even show who I was. It was anonymous. I didn't come forward. I just started showing my face about 4 or 5 months ago or 6 months ago. So no, it's not for fame. And people that want to think that, just let them. It doesn't faze me in a way, really, to be honest, because it's like they have nothing better to do, so they're gonna hate on a person that's actually trying to do something.
Mm-hmm. Where do you want to take it from here? Like, what steps do you want to do to move forward? Because obviously you have the page now, you have your following, you have people who come to you to do that. Where do you want to go next to improve the actual lives of victims?
Do you have a lot of big names supporting you in this?
Yes, so I can give examples. Bashambar Das is one. She's a judge in the UK. I can give you Wamaka Gabi. She's an actress. People that are well known in the community is one. Yeah. There's Cal Desange that follows and supports the page. There's many people in the community that support it. A lot of people support it secretly too, because they just don't want to be involved. But meaning if I need any connections, any links of any sort where I need to get connected with someone to help with a case, I have that. So that's the good part of it.
Mm-hmm. What's the hard?
Pardon me?
What's the hard part?
The hard part?
Yeah.
When it comes to, I would say, when it comes to talking to the families. So when I
go and talk to the families of
yeah, I've gone to many where pretty much I've done three-way calls as well, because a lot of people are calling from different countries.
Yeah.
So meaning I'll give you an example, the one that I went here. So I went into the family and I'm just a random stranger pretty much walking in with their girl.
Yeah.
And she needed to tell their parents that she was sexually assaulted by her cousin. Mm-hmm. And I was just sitting there while she's sharing this information. But she had the support where I'm in the background. So they kind of did at one point kind of attack her in a way, saying, why are you bringing this up now after so many years? Now, we're going to break the family if we're going to do something about this, blah, blah, blah. Let it go because it's already happened. So that's when I kind of have to stand for that person, where that person isn't able to defend themselves. They don't know how to at that point in their life. So let's just say I go when it comes to that. I've met up with abusers as well. So there was a case here in Surrey where I went with a girl to meet her abuser.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you met the actual abuser?
Yeah. So the reason for this one was they both didn't know what they had done to each other in a way. They were so young. So meaning the guy touched the girl at the age of 12, 13, but she was 6, 7. So they were, let's just say they didn't even know about their own body parts and they were experimenting. But they see each other at family functions and now they're older. They're like 24, 25.
And this is affecting the girl.
Yeah, so it's affecting the girl. It's like, yo, I see you. I have to say hi to you. But it's like, what the fuck did you do? Like, what the hell was it? So then they sat down and pretty much talked. And he's like, yo, I didn't even know. But at the end of the day,
how does that conversation like go? Like, how do you like mediate that? Because that's a pretty intense thing for somebody to sit there and let you, like, you're basically like judging their situation.
Yeah, in a way, judging. I'm more of like sitting there talking. I don't want any problems.
Are you receptive to both perspectives, female and male?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you gauge that difference?
Pardon me?
How do you like gauge the difference between the two? Like, of how do you like relate to the one party and to both parties equally at the same time, like when you're talking to
so
them?
I'm not getting emotionally attached with them. I don't know them. I'm listening. I'm a third person just entering their story of what has happened. My thing is healing. My thing isn't about like, hey, causing a scene and like, hey, you did this, now this is what's gonna happen to you.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about, hey, both of you need to heal. But that case was both of them needed to heal, where it's like they both needed to apologize to each other. My main thing is what the victims want. So most of the victims want an apology by their abuser. Most of the victims like, hey, I need to heal, I need to move forward, but I can't because guess what? I need to see you at family functions. I see you at all these places and you pretend like you haven't done anything to me, but you have. So it's just like, you know, when you break up in a relationship and you need that like closure, it pretty much comes to like a closure of like healing and like now moving forward.
Yeah, interesting. So yeah, back to the other question before. Where do you want to take the page forward?
So I have made it the Core Movement Foundation. So I still wanted a seva though. So I've always wanted it where there's no money involved. It's kind of getting harder now where there's no money involved. I'm putting a lot of time and effort in, but a lot of victims sometimes need money to like get out of situations, leave their house. So, but I'm kind of like
non-profit organization type of thing.
Yeah, a non-profit organization. But I feel like there's already so many organizations like that where I can just send them to anyways, and they can get help like that. I want to make it a focus of just healing, and it's a seva where there's no money involved, meaning like if I post something up on my page right now saying, hey, I need a lawyer, that I just need advice for a victim, they'll help for free without no gain, without no, like there's nothing where they're going to get something. In a way, it's humanity, serving each other for free and helping strangers. So that's my main thing, where it's just growing day by day, helping one another and just not asking anything back in return.
That's really good.
What is there anything else like that you have been through this like experience that has been hard on you, or like how's it affected like your life, like your actual life, like your family life and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, like there's
how are your parents? How do they feel about this?
It's hush hush in my family. So we don't.
They're not with it.
They know what I do. They know what I do. They're scared for my well-being. Like they're just scared for me.
They're just
meaning
like being parents, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're being parents. They're like, how is this helping? They kind of don't understand how it's helping. So my dad, for example, like nobody knows this really, but my dad goes to India once a year and he opens the eye camp for the poor, right? So he just like helps with eyesight and stuff. And I'm like, hey, that's your seva and that's what you're doing with money. My seva is helping people with their they're silent, they're depressed, their anxiety, that whatever they're going through, I'm helping through that. And that's my type of seva, right? But my parents, it's hush hush. They know I'm doing good. They are okay with it, but we don't talk about it. We barely talk about it. Another thing is when I get threats in a way like, for example, just like a couple days ago, someone messaged me my address. So it's like, hey, bro, I know where I live, but okay, like if you want to come by, come by.
It was
like,
office for director?
Who knows? Maybe it was him. I have no idea at this point. But I got a message with my address sent to me. And I'm like, "Aake cha pee lo." Make me some cha, man. Like, what? Why are you sending me the damn address? Like, it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand that part. But I guess
they're probably trying to scare you.
You put something on your story today too. Like, somebody sent you a video of yourself
Oh my God. Okay, yeah. So this was last night, yesterday.
Yeah.
Pretty much what happened is I received a video of myself.
Yeah.
Like, I went to Arizona with a couple of girls, and I went out and I made a video of myself. And I posted it on my personal page, and which is private now, but before it used to be public.
Okay.
And I guess someone had screen recorded it or something, I don't know, messaged me on the side with a private like account and pretty much saying, hey, I'm gonna post your video everywhere. This is not a core. You shouldn't be wearing that. Like, you pretty much he was calling me out for looking like a slut whore type of a deal. That's what his thing was. So I was like, okay, so you're trying to tell me you're gonna make this viral? And
Yeah.
the person's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So 30 seconds later, I posted it up myself, and I'm like, here you go. Like,
there's a viral for you, right?
So he said,
make it viral on my page.
he said that's not what a core would do?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not something a core would do. So a lot of people are not okay with the movement being a core movement because I'm not Amritari. So I'm not.
Oh, okay.
So
see.
they relate that to.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I'm not a core. So like
Well,
all
there's
the
a lot of Amritaris out there not doing Amritari things, right?
Yeah.
So
I know. Yeah. There's a lot of.
apparently you're not a core or a thing if you're not Amritari.
Okay, yeah, back to it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it was. I started laughing. I was like, are you kidding me? At the end of the day, like, I personally know I haven't sent any like of my inappropriate pictures to anyone, but if I did, or if someone took a picture of me and then they're like, hey, now it's a nude of you and I'm gonna make it viral, the first thing I'm gonna do is take the picture, literally post it on my page, and obviously block out whatever I need to block out, and then be like, I'm not breaking any community guidelines, because Instagram and their community guidelines, right? Not gonna break it, but here's a picture of me. Apparently this is my nude picture and people are trying to scare me with it.
Let's just hope that doesn't happen.
Exactly. But like, you know what? There's a lot of people that try though. I've had pictures sent to me which are of someone else's body and my face on it.
Oh,
so like editing and stuff done, right?
Like,
a lot of people put a lot of time into this. Eh? Like, you must have really like
pissed some people off.
I've pissed a lot of people off. I've pissed a lot of people off. There's a lot of talk that's happening that people don't want, like, you know, mentioned sex education. Me as a girl talking about sex and all of that kind of stuff. And it's not even sex, it's sexual abuse.
Honestly, like, I do think we need sex education. Like, you don't really learn a lot when you grow up, like, especially like being brown.
Yeah, we don't. No. Do we talk about condoms in our families? No. Do we like, does like, yo, if there's a movie playing and there's a kissing scene, our parents like hide it. Like, everyone gets awkward in the family. So there's a lot of
kind of awkward.
Sex education.
But it's never talked about. So
yeah, it could be. It's a part of life, right? Because if you're preparing the kids for life, then this is a part of life that happens, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
I feel like that's not really our parents' fault either. Like, because like where they come from, they've just learned to come here and hustle and work hard. They don't know themselves, life, right?
Like, exactly.
They haven't been educated on that either, right?
But it was their age, yeah, they were.
I wouldn't fully blame parents either, but like, obviously you gotta take some accountability. But at the same time, it's just like, that it's literally the system we're in. Like, the system, you're saying the criminal system, like, is not helping any victims. Like,
it's not helping.
It's not helping either.
Yeah, it helps 3% of victims. Literally, out of, let's just say 100 cases, only 3 will go to court. So how about all other people?
That's crazy.
Yeah, where's the other people? What are the people gonna do? Yeah, there's false cases. I understand that. There's girls that have exposed on my page too, where they've
Oh yeah. So let's talk about that. Like, so girls lie. So like, what do you do in that situation when a girl's like lied about a case or something? And how do you find out, like, if you know that they're lying or something like that?
Yeah. So I want to see your process. So how do you take a story and say, okay, this happened, I'm gonna post it? Like, what makes?
Okay, so for stories, for example, that I have on my page, first I talk to the people. So what's going on? How can I help you? What service? Like, what can I provide for you? What like, you're trying to heal by sharing your story with me, right? So some people just want their story shared because it's anonymous anyways, right? and seeing like the comments underneath help them. So hey, like I'm not the only one. It's like a support group.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's been through it. There's so many other. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that have been through this, right? So it's a kind of like a support group healing, right? But when it comes to exposing, for example, obviously I go really in depth. Like, for example, the director and the singer that I exposed on my page,
Singer
I
too?
did that stuff for 9 what? You guys
not say his name?
Dilpreet Alon.
Oh yeah.
So
wait, he used to abuse his wife, right?
Yeah, he beat up his wife. But before that, there was 5 other girls that had come forward, and he used them for money and pretty much sex and pretty much.
How is he reacting to this? Is he just ignorant to it?
Have you guys not seen his live?
No.
Oh,